for Thursday, the 22nd of August 2019. And as the day begins, all eyes move to the Jackson Hole Symposium, as well as British Prime Minister Boris Johnson's attempts to restart Brexit negotiations with key EU leaders, having met already with Chancellor Merkel of Germany yesterday, who will be have met with President Macron of France today. Friday will be the main event at Jackson Hole as Fed Chairman Powell delivers a key speech. You can bet the market will be poring over every single word that he says, looking for some indications of what's going to lie ahead in terms of monetary policy with the Federal Reserve. Despite yesterday's Fed minutes indicating that July's rate cut was purely a recalibration, and this morning's comments from Kansas City Fed President Esther George that the rate cut was not needed, traders are rather hoping that Chairman Powell will give them something more to work with. It will remain to be seen, but you can bet all eyes will be on Friday. As far as the rest of the market is concerned, quiet sessions in Asia and Europe. This US day begin with a higher open for stocks. The Dow Jones opening up over 150 points higher. On the FX side, better than expected European manufacturing PMI data sees Euro bounce up to a high of 111.10, but again cannot break this area, and so it's back down towards 110.80 in fairly short order. The main mover, as has been the case pretty much daily recently, is sterling, which rallies powerfully through recent resistance of 121.80 to a high just above 122.70. Got a mix of stop losses coupled with the hope that a Brexit deal can be reached, was enough to take sterling higher by over 100 and probably 120 points in the space of around about 10 minutes. Quite a sharp move, which I will just touch on here briefly in a technical analysis piece at the end. It was somewhat ironic though, because the meeting with French President Macron rather contradicted the comments from German Chancellor Merkel in stating that the all-important backdrop was not negotiable. But Chancellor Merkel sort of opened the door a little bit, pretty much giving Boris Johnson 30 days to come up with a solution, and Macron seemed to slam the door in his face. But regardless, sterling rallied, market was short, and it was enough for the market just to hope there might be some sort of solution in the near future. Next up, there was a comment from Philadelphia Fed President Harker, who was at the Fed governors meetings in Jackson Hole, who said he doesn't see the need for another rate cut and believes the Fed should quote unquote stay here for a while. It was enough to see the dollar, except against sterling, gained about 10 or 15 points across the board. The US yield curve inverts once more, which takes the S&P and NASDAQ into negative territory. The US 10-year yield rises to 1.6%, and before long the Dow plays a bit of catch-up and also turns negative on the day, down shy of about 100 points at its worst. For crypto, a familiar story. Bitcoin drops below 10,000, goes down to 9,760. But as the day progresses, rallies back over 10,000. And as I'm putting this together at the end of the US day, has managed to rally back up to 10,200 once again. And Ethereum also manages to bounce a bit, touching up to 195. As the day progresses, FX is once again quiet, with sterling having already done some damage to the market on the day. Equities do fight back, with the Dow Jones turning positive just before the close to end the day higher by 49 points. The S&P and NASDAQ register small losses. Fair to say, certainly from an FX perspective, it's all going to be about Chairman Powell's speech tomorrow, so not totally unsurprising, sterling aside, that the rest of the market was fairly subdued. And just to end off here, as I mentioned, sterling really was the real mover today, a mixture of technical and fundamental reasons. Of all the major currencies, sterling can still be victim of some of the sharpest moves we see in FX on a day-to-day basis. The hourly chart here shows the severity of today's moves. As I said, breaking up really from 121.50 through strong resistance there, really at 121.80, up to a high around 122. 122.30 initially, and then a next leg up to 122.73 in short order. For now, 121.80 should be good support on a dip. Resistance to the top side, given the volatile nature of sterling, I'd really be looking at the 124.23 area. Obviously, some room in here, but sterling's going to bounce around on every comment and every headline that comes out re-Brexit. So be prepared for an increase in sterling volatility if you thought that was even possible. It probably is. And for those new traders amongst you, cable is a great reminder of why you always want to have a stop loss placed somewhere, because when it takes off like it did here, and for those of you who can actually see the screen, I'm just going to convert this 1 hour chart into a 5-minute chart, and you see here this was a very, very sharp move. If you did not have a stop loss placed around here, you may have struggled to cover your position if you were short. So that's why it's always really important to go and have those stop losses placed in a system somewhere to make sure you can cover your exposure should something crazy happen. You never know when there's going to be a headline or a tweet out next. And with that, I shall wish you all the best of luck for trading on Friday. Hope you had a good day today, and one day closer to the weekend. Cheers.